how do you value a company that's private? So the way you do it is a couple ways. One way is you look at the size of the total addressable market. I got to be careful with using my hands here because they're massive using this new webcam on the road here. But you look at the size of the total addressable market, and then you calculate how much you think your company can get in, say, 5 or 10 years. Okay, and so that will tell you your revenue in 5 or 10 years. Then what you do is you assign a multiple to that revenue number based on the industry you're in. So if you're in the cloud computing markets, where the average cloud computing company, hypothetically speaking, is trading at 10 times revenue, then in 5 years, if you think you can get $100 million in revenue, then that's a $1 billion company, right? That's 10 times $100 million. Okay, and I know there's some of you on the call that are thinking, wait a second, Chris, that's revenue. What about earnings? Well, what you can also do is in 5 or 10 years, you can calculate what you think your earnings will be by forecasting your financial statements. And you can always take my course called Introduction to Finance Accounting, Modeling and Valuation for details on how to create a financial model. So what you'll have is you'll have earnings estimates 5 and 10 years out. And then what you'll do is you'll apply a PE multiple, a price earnings multiple, on what your earnings are going to be in 5 or 10 years. And then you'll discount it back into today's dollars and today's terms. I can talk about that in more details if you want to. The last way you can value a company, which is my least favorite because there's a lot of unknown variables, is discounted cash flow. And what that means is you take the net present value of all the future cash you're going to make in the future today. What's that money worth today? And you can always go to Excel and type equals NPV, open brackets. And Excel is awesome. It'll ask you to enter your interest rate and all the cash flow streams in the future. NPV will discount to today, and that's similar to discounted cash flow. Why am I mentioning 3 different valuation tools to use? Because I promise you, one of them is going to be way, way off. The issue is we don't know which one. And so if you take an average of all 3, meaning DCF, price earnings, which is my favorite, and price to revenue, if you take an average of all 3 target prices, then that will minimize the margin of error. It's not a perfect science, though. The difference between somebody that works in accounting and finance is that accounting is more of a science. It's backwards looking, and you have to be really precise. Finance is more of an art. You're looking into the future. And when I create a financial model, I feel like I'm that painter with the big hair, whatever, and I'm creating, I have a blank template, and I'm creating it. It's fun for me. It's fun for me. And it's fun for you as well in my courses. So what I do is I always look out 3 to 5 years, sometimes 5 to 10 years, and take an average of all 3. So if you have follow-up questions based on that, please let me know. Of course, it all depends on what industry you're in as well. If it's a services business model like Accenture, ticker ACN, the multiples are going to be lower because the business is not as scalable versus if it's a software or a cloud computing company. Thanks.